Welcome to Xplan and the introduction to the client onboarding process. This is designed to make your practice more efficient and more engaging for the client as a first introduction. We've got a new prospect here called Cliff Jones, and we're going to go into his client hub, and this is where you can basically see everything on a page. So we've had the introduction, could be from an accountancy practice or other introduction, and we're going to kick off the advice process. And to that end, Xplan features some very good intelligent workflows, and we're going to kick one off to suit the advice process, which is called Case Manager. In the Case Manager process, a lot of the routines here can be automated, which saves time, creates efficiencies in your business, and in this case, can be matched to your specific business process. Workflows are very easy to create and are very, very intuitive. So we're going to launch a new advice process, and we're going to onboard the client by getting fact find information and such. Within the workflow, you can put in a procedures manual, so guiding less experienced staff in what their tasks are going to be in this regard. And to give you a feel for an example workflow, having started the process, we're going to do the fact find risk profile, potentially hand off to a power planner to do cash flow analysis, and then back to the advisor, compliance stepping in along the way as well. So if we activate that workflow, it's going to trigger a number of events throughout the business, and it's also going to give us some benchmarks to adhere to from a compliance perspective. So in the event of maybe a complaint down the line, you've got full evidence of that compliant process that you took the client through. The first thing we're going to do with this client is actually book an appointment. So we'll return to the client hub, and we have full integration to your Outlook calendar and indeed Gmail for those of you that use Google Mail. So we're back into the client hub. We've kicked off the process. We're ready to start. And the first thing we're going to do is book a meeting with a client. So since the pandemic, many of you were using video meetings, and we've got integration to Zoom. So if we trigger an initial meeting, this has also got some workflows built into it. We can match this up with the advisor's calendar, so we can choose an appropriate date and time. If we wanted to do it as a remote video meeting, we just click that radio button, and that will send the client confirmation in an email with all the instructions for joining a Zoom. If you want to be super professional, you can also send the client a reminder either by email or text message a day or two before the meeting to confirm it. So that's now booked into the calendar, and we're good to go. The workflow is actually triggered issuing compliance documents. As you can see, we've got the initial meeting confirmation there. You've got the Zoom instructions. So all highly efficient in that regard. And within the workflow, we've now got some actions that we need to do. And the first one that we need to do, we started that process, and we go into that case manager. We're going to start the advice process, and that's going to take us in to the fact find. So in this case, we're going to use workflow, and it's going to ask the client to complete the fact find. We think the most efficient way of doing that is getting the client engaged in the process. So we've set Mr. Jones up with access to the Xplan client portal. This is included free as part of our standard package. For those of you that want to have an app on Apple or Android stores, then it can also be used as an app at extra cost. So Mr. Jones logs in. As you can see, the secure message has already gone through to confirming the initial meeting, and now we want him to go about completing the onboarding fact find. So the concept of this is that it's super simple for the client to complete, and it's going to give the client a view as to what to expect. So they're saying it's going to take you approximately half an hour to do this. You can actually tailor that to your wording and tone of voice, and we're going to get the client to complete some information about themselves. So any information we've gathered, maybe on the phone, we've got his date of birth, his marital status and such, that will be recorded there. We're going to ask about the work information. And as I said, to keep the client brought into this, we try and make it very easy for them to complete. So we can just put in some basic details about his occupation, when he started the occupation and such. We can put that in. Anything we save here will actually update the main fact find within Xplan. So we continue to talk about addresses, property information. We did capture some property information. We first chatted to this client, so we got his address, so we can use that as the current property and put in a value, approximate value for that property. It's got all the information there. Quick address software helps that. And then we carry on asking about things like mortgages, investment information, retirement funds. And if we go to expenses, this can also be a big efficiency saver. With the advent of open banking, we can integrate open banking. So you've got the option to do probably what you currently do and go through each expense and put in groceries and gas bills and whatnot. So we can put in either an overall amount, or you can do it individually. The beauty of open banking is that this will link up to the client's bank account, current account information, some savings accounts as well. It will then put that into about 180 different categories and map that straight into Xplan. So slight extra cost for that, but very, very worthwhile, again, as an efficiency saver. Another thing we've introduced recently is the pre-meeting questionnaire, so we can get a feel for how the client feels about their financial well-being, what they think about the family being secure in the event of death or critical illness. And we can also be specific as to what areas of interest that they have and they'd like to speak with us about. So having completed that, that's it. They submit the report back into the centre. You will get a notification to say that Cliff Jones has updated his fact find information. And then if we dive into his fact find, that's fully populated with the information that he's completed. So you've got a full audit trail of that. Typically now, in terms of just finishing off this onboarding, we're going to go through the document. We might want to include a covering letter. We'll date the fact find. We'll talk about when the meeting took place. You've got the facility to select and deselect pages. And best practice amongst a lot of our user base is to get the client to actually sign this as a true reflection of their financial affairs. So you can have a declaration that comes out and you can append that to the fact find document. And having finished ticked all the boxes in terms of the fact find, we can then ask the client to sign it electronically within the portal. So that's generated the report. It sent the client an email to say that they've got a new document to sign. And indeed, it could be any document. It might be a terms of business or a suitability letter that you get the client to sign. And again, they log back on to their portal, and waiting for them there are the secure messaging and information about signing that document. So they log in, they go to the area which is saying you've got a new document to sign, so they go into that area of the system, and there's the fact find waiting for them there. They can view the fact find. It comes with smart styling, so you can have some fancy graphics and obviously put your logo on and such. Mr. Jones reads through that, assuming he's happy with it. He can click the digital signature button and he'll have a 6-digit code sent through to his smartphone device. And presuming he's happy with that, he types in the number, and that gives you a digital signature. So that's been successful. You'll have a certificate back within the main Xplan as a record for your compliance file. And that gives you a good flavor for how we onboard clients in a very efficient and very technological way. And if you'd like further information, then please feel to reach out and we'll be very happy to arrange a personal demonstration for you. Thank you for listening.